Welcome to this webisode of Outback Outdoors. It's December. I'm going to be heading out to Colorado and joining up with Trevon and Adam on their yearly archery deer hunt.
Outback Outdoors is brought to you by Hoyt. Get serious, get Hoyt. Bugling bull game calls. We call the game. Gold Tip. With smart carbon technology. Spot Hog Archery. The world's toughest archery products. Winner's Choice custom bowstrings. Champion shooters live by them. Hope and Young trophies die by them. Nikon. The trusted name in optics. Hamsky Archery Solutions. Maximize your accuracy. Rage Broadheads, the revolutionary rear-deploying broadhead. S4 Gear, meeting the demands of nature and those that tame it. And Hex, the evolution of concealment.
Well, the first thing after landing in Denver, met up with Trevon. We headed over to meet Sean Greathouse with Hamsky Archery, and we put the brand new Versa Rest on my bow. Now normally, before a hunt, I won't make any changes to my bow. But I was really excited about this new Versa Rest from Hamsky Archery. Sean is an expert on archery. He understands the mechanics of a bow, and within 2 shots, we were shooting bullet holes through the paper, headed outside, and 60 yards, my groups got even tighter. It was time to go on the hunt. Now the way we're hunting these bucks is we've got to find a vantage point. We've got to glass a long distance. Once we find them, we've got the hunter, we've got a camera guy, and we have one person hanging out in the truck keeping an eye on those bedded deer. Now understand this. This is after 3 gun seasons. We've had 2 rifle seasons and a muzzleloader season. These deer are on edge. Now when I think of hunting whitetails, I think of thick cover, tree stands, and river bottoms. I don't think of open spaces. We found this herd of whitetail bedded on the baldest hillside where they could see all the way around them, just like antelope would set up. Well, whose turn was it to hunt? It was Trevon's.
I don't know if our brilliant plan is working. These whitetail are goofy, and they could have worked right back almost the exact same spot that they were bedded at. Just done a big circle and come right back and bedded back down. And we'd never be able to see them from here, so I think what we're going to do is they should have been able to come over the rise and we'd have seen them. We're going to move up, see if we can get some glass on them and at least know exactly where they are and see if we're going to even be able to make a play or not. We're going to do something. sure are tired. Been running toes ragged, fighting, all that good stuff. But I want to shoot that big one. That was cool. They came in 70 yards. I couldn't get drawn. Just didn't have a shot. Dang it, but that was hex, man. This is what it's all about. This is as good as it gets when it comes to a testimonial. We're in open country. Look at this. There's nothing here. I'll tell you what, man, this stuff, it works. As you see, this is open. This is wide open. There's not much cover at all. We got in here and we had deer from 25 to 62 and in between. And we had that little bucket, 62, but I didn't want to take him. I wouldn't take that in a tree stand, even though this is spot and stalk. I didn't take him, but the hex stuff works, and this is as tough as it gets when it comes to spotting and stalking.
Welcome back. Let's rejoin Trevon, Adam, and Dave as they test their hex gear and their stalking skills on the eastern plains of Colorado.
Well, using the first light, Adam was able to spot this nice group of deer bedded just off a CRP field. Well, it was his turn to hunt, and there was a pretty nice buck in this bunch.
We're only about 400 yards away from these deer. We're gonna sneak down this road that we're parked on. There's a nice little draw. They'll take us within, I'm thinking 100, 150 yards of these deer. And from there on, it's gonna be on our hands and knees and bellies and see if we can't close this gap.
Well, I grabbed the camera, he grabbed his bow, and off we went.
right of them still bedded down. There's at least 2 does in there that we know of. It's all not going to be easy, but we got a chance. We got a chance.
We had quite a long stalk, going through some CRP, through a cornfield, through a cut wheat field, and then we finally made it to within 200 yards of these deer.
I'll move up 5-6 yards. Stop. We'll both stop for a little while, then you move up to me. And let's just go one person moving at a time.
Before the break, Adam had a close encounter with a great buck in eastern Colorado.
On that buck, I was thinking I was anywhere from 50 to 70 yards. It's hard to get a good read in this cover. When he stood up, my first read was 50, then 18, then 50, then 50. So I figured he was at 50. He didn't even see me till I drew my bow back. Up a little bit of hair. It smells like air. Well, I just picked up a little bit of hair off the bottom of that brisket, I bet. Man, that was close. That was close. Just so hard to get an accurate range through all this. This is all the sweet clover, all these stalks that are up. It's hard to get an accurate range.
Now let's rewind the camera back to day one. It's not very often that the first stalk, on the first day, it all comes together. Trevon and I were able to put some glass on a number of bucks bedded out in this cut wheat field.
Well, you got this buck that Trevon spotted earlier. He's in this stubble field, and the stubble is probably, 18 inches deep. And so where he's bedded down, his tines are coming up above it, but it's completely flat out here. So what we need to do is we need to go back down the road, come in from downwind, and then we need to get in to one of the small roads that the pivot tire makes, because he is one pivot tire length to the west of the main head, wellhead. And so we're gonna go give this a try. It's dead calm, just a slight breeze to the south, and so we're gonna have to be really quiet. This stuff's really crackly, but I think we can probably get into range on this buck. He's pretty nice.
Now in this wheat stubble, we were able to follow the tire tracks left by tractors, heading left, heading right, almost like a corn maze during Halloween. And we were hoping that the ones we picked would help us close the distance.
Moving in on these deer. Now there's 4 deer. There's 2 does and 2 bucks, the big buck and then the one horn. They're still about 250 yards out, but they're up and feeding. It's middle of the day. We need them to bed down so that we can slowly work through the grass towards them, but they're not giving us that opportunity yet. We just gotta be patient and keep slowly jockeying them as they're moving along.
Coming up next week on Outback Outdoors.
As everyone knows, September is my favorite time of year. If there's one thing I love in the outdoors the most, hands down, it's archery elk hunting. Nothing matches the excitement of calling in these bugling bulls.
Welcome back. Let's rejoin Dave Beronio of Outback Outdoors as he tries to arrow a trophy muley in eastern Colorado.
We have about 120 yards left to the deer. We're gonna hold up. Probably about 40 yards if we can get there.
Good shot. I think I got it all. I hope I got it all.
Trevon, that was totally intense. Stuff is like walking on popcorn.
Yeah.
It was just taking our time and being patient, and we played the wind right all day. He is not the biggest buck, but the way everything worked out today, this is how a hunt is supposed to happen. The funny thing is, Trev, is I flew in yesterday, you picked me up, we went over to get this new Versa Rest put on my bow. This thing is absolutely awesome. You can do it limb activated, you can do it cable activated, lower limb activated. This thing is just, I mean, it worked flawlessly. First stock with the new rest, and it was whisper quiet. Everything just stood around after I made the shot. Oh, yes, that was awesome. We put the hex on. December, bow hunt, out in the spot and stalk in the flats. It's awesome. Let's go get my buck. Look at that buck. Oh, eastern Colorado, spot and stalk in the flats, archery, mule deer hunting. This is beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Trevor.
The Versa Rest barked on your Hoyt. got your first kill with your Versa rest?
Yeah, dude, you know, we set that up yesterday, midday. Sean set us up with the Hamsky archery.
Nothing like going into town and changing your setup the day before you hunt, huh?
I know. Thanks for watching this episode of Outback Outdoors. Well, we made memories on this hunt that are going to last a lifetime. Archery hunting mule deer in the plains of eastern Colorado with my good friends Trevon and Adam. All the tactics that I learned on this hunt, stalking in minimal cover and the loudest of terrain, I hope to use these lessons to make myself a better bow hunter. Thanks for watching this episode of Outback Outdoors, and we'll see you next time.